In this video, we're going to show you how to install the blower motor resistor and wiring harness on your Ford Explorer, located up behind the glove box. Now, to gain access to the blower motor resistor, we're going to come in underneath the glove box here, and there's a cover underneath here. It's this cover here. There are 3 7mm screws. There's going to be one way up in the back corner here. There's a hole you can put your finger into, and that goes all the way up. You're going to need an extension and a 7mm screw. Then there's another one right here. And then there's one on the other side right about here. So we want to go ahead, loosen, and remove those. As we're pulling this out, you want to go ahead and disconnect this connector right here. Press down on this little gray tab and separate the harness. Set that panel aside. Now right here we have our blower motor. Right behind it is our blower motor resistor with the harness itself. Now there's a little tab right here. You want to press in on this tab and pull this harness off. Pull that back. Now the resistor is held in place by 2 8mm screws here, so we're going to use a shallow socket and our 1/4" ratchet. There's not a lot of room to work underneath here, so just have some patience with it. Now if you have an 8mm gear wrench, it'll probably be a little bit easier to use that. So we switched over to a 8mm wrench itself, a little stubby wrench. Due to the clearance between this little plastic trim with the insulator here, you don't have a lot of room to work. Once you get that loose enough, you can go ahead and spin that out. Let's go ahead and get the other one. Go ahead and lower the resistor out. Underneath here we have our harness for our resistor, and is wrapped in this sheathing here. What I want to do is cut some of this back so we can gain access to this wire harness. And you want to be careful when doing something like this here, because you don't want to cut into wires that you need or that you'll be using later. So you just kind of be careful with that. And you want to expose these wires here. We have 4 wires here, and normally what you want to do is stagger the connections, because we're going to be cutting this and adapting in some other wires, and we have butt connectors here that are going to go in, so you don't want to have a big clump of these butt connectors. It's not really ideal. So you put one further down, put the next one up, and you're going to step them. So what we'll do here is we'll snip this one right here. The next one will be here. The next one will be here. And the next one will be up here. Now the key thing to this here is you want to pay attention to the replacement harness. Now the replacement harness is identical this way here, but they're all black wires. So when installing this harness here, you want to make sure that when you're installing this here, that let's say we have our fourth wire over here is the black wire, fourth wire over here is going to be our black wire. So you're going to connect that to the black wire. Next one is the yellow. I think that's a gray stripe, gray tracer. So you're going to connect the second wire into the yellow with gray tracer, and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and start to strip these wires here, and then we'll cut this connector harness here appropriately and strip those ends. Now we're going to take our butt connectors here, and we already pre-stripped this down, just like we did on the harness on the body itself. Now ideally, you don't need as much of that stripped as it shows there, so we can go ahead and trim that just a little bit. I'm going to do that for all of these here. When you're done with this job, you go ahead and run a vacuum on the inside here to clean this up, of course. Go ahead and retwist these here. There we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the connector, we're going to slip that in. We're going to use our crimper tool here, and we're going to crimp just that half. Give that a little tug, make sure that is connected, and we're going to continue this process for the other three. Now when crimping these here, the butt connectors have a little marking on the middle of them, so you know where you're crimping only half of it. So you want to be careful when doing that. Now what you want to do next is match up your connectors here. We have the yellow with the green tracer is the short one. Then we have the thin purple and white, followed by the yellow, and that could be a light blue or gray tracer or stripe, and then the black. So we're just going to match these up to the one underneath the dash, crimp those, and then we'll go ahead and tape them up. Okay. Get our next one up here. Now that we have all these connected, just give them a little tug. Now that we have all of our connectors connected, you can come on back with some tape, and you want to neatly wrap this up. Go ahead and cut that tape. Okay, so our new harness is installed. Let's go ahead and install the resistor and then plug in the harness. So now we can go ahead and take our resistor and we're going to line that up, feed that up into place. I'm going to try and get these screws started by hand. I'm just going to use my wrench here to get that screw up and in there a bit. Now I'm not going to tighten this one down yet until I get the other screw started. I just want to make sure that I get this in several threads. Now when tightening these down, you just basically want to snug it into place. You'll feel the screw bottom out. And once you feel that one bottom out, we'll go over and get that other one. Once you feel it bottom out, just give it a little bit more. And we'll do the same to this side here. Okay, we'll snug that down. And we take our harness here. Let's go ahead and line that up and push that on. You can feel it and hear it snap into place. Take our lower tray here and we want to connect our electrical connector. Go ahead and line that up. On the lower panel here, we have this cylindrical tube right here that has to get tucked into the back corner. I'm going to use a small pry bar. You can use something similar to this here. Now you just have to kind of flex that back post back up and in. Now once you have that back corner post up into place, we're going to line up the front panel here. Not going to tighten that, we just want to get that cut, and then we'll go ahead and get the screw installed on the other side. And we'll run that one all the way up, tighten that one, we'll do the same here. Now we'll go ahead and get that screw in the back corner. Take your third screw, gonna feed that up inside. Now you just want to snug that down gently. There we go. Once you have this cover installed and all of your screws are in, you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.